Turn up the dial, it's 10:30. Be back. Spin that back show, all the classics on track. From 79 to 99, we're crossing the gap. Album reviews, little known facts, hip hop intact. Saturday mornings, dive into the history. Samples and stories, old school mysteries. Early South static, Shiraz and CBD. Nola Batapine. Turn it up, let the vinyl spin. 10:30 sharp, where the stories begin. From the golden era, treasures within. Spin that back show every Saturday when we break it down, the legends and the lore. Every beat, every rhyme, uncover more. From Grandmaster Flash to Nas's Raw, we're bridging the past, hip-hop's core.
Oh, y'all getting hoity-toity. I like that. That was hoity-toity, my niggas.
Welcome back to another Spin That Back show. It's Saturday, 10:30, 4th of July, 2026. We got my man, Mr. Nice Guy, and we got Mr. Walk in the house. What's going on, brothers?
I'm feeling good. I've been vibing. This one I've been off all this morning. Marvelous Marvin, Cash Money. All the ugly people, be quiet.
Be quiet.
Let's go. Spin that back. Let's rock, baby.
Philadelphia in the house. Yo, man. I don't know. Something was in the water with them Philadelphia DJs, man. Them dudes was just like super nice.
They were the ones. But they get denied at the World Seminar. The DJs, they were always shit on Tab Money, Cash Money. Yeah, they really. But that might be a future show. Philly hip hop in the 80s, bro. Come on, man. Come on now. Philly's hip hop in the 80s.
That might be a future show, but I'll tell you what, we're going to talk about classic equipment that was used in hip hop and actually throughout music, through the years and everything. But, everything got incorporated into hip hop when sampling came along anyway. So we're going to talk about this, though. So, Mr. Nice Guy, man, let me ask you a question, bro. What do you know about equipment way back in the day type stuff? In fact, let's talk about let's set it up a little bit. You got your music instruments and everything. You got your horns. You got your little acoustic guitars. You got your drums and everything. Then you got electric instruments like electric guitar, the organ, and stuff like that. Then you got drum machines and stuff like that. But like the first thing that came along, that really kind of like changed music in a sense was like the electric guitar that brought in things like rock music and stuff like that. And then you had stuff
distortion.
Distortion and all that, those type of stuff, amps and all that old good stuff. People started innovating and working with that. And, you had people that actually changed music with these type of, equipment and everything. But what really, in my opinion, what really changed music to the fullest was synthesizers. Synthesizers really did a whole lot for music. And one of the greatest synthesizers that ever came out was one that was started by, I forgot the man's name, but it was the Moog, like the mini Moog.
Thick. Pause, but yeah.
Look at that shit, look prehistoric as hell. But that was changing the game, bro. That was like, oh snap. Yeah.
And you know how heavy that mug was? I remember when I had to sell a receiver and a recycler, and literally the reason why I got it so quickly, I said heavy, hard to steal. Someone was like, "Yep, that's what I want." so yeah, that's the real. That
was actually like a compact synthesizer, because synthesizers was really big back in the day. Like for instance, let's look at this one synthesizer. It's called the Tonto.
That's insane.
It took up like a whole room and everything. That is big as hell.
Yeah, the power that mug took, the heat in that room.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
My man Stevie Wonder.
That shit could power a whole city with the electricity with that. Then you better not have too many fucking things plugged into that. That shit burning up, bro.
Yeah, directly into the wall.
It was a couple of guys actually invented this big ass synthesizer, and they made an album on there and everything. And Stevie Wonder heard the album, he was impressed by it and everything, and he started using it on his classic albums, starting from Music in My Mind in '72, Talking Book, Intervisions, and Fulfilling This First Finale. All those albums he used that Tonto and everything, and he got all those sounds and everything. A lot of those sounds off that right there. you know, along with the, you know, the clavinet and other little things, the Wurlitzer and all that old stuff. So I'm just saying, you know, synthesizers came a long way because now you got software and everything, plugins and all this old stuff where you can get all these sounds, and you got a plethora of synthesizers that then came before then or after, you know, since then, basically. You know what I'm saying? But I think the synthesizer was one of the most important inventions as far as electronic music goes, because you can play bass on there and everything with the left hand, and you can get rid of all bass players and everything. A whole lot of bass players wasn't even existing at that time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, think about it. This synthesizer, the Mini Moog, was used in a whole lot of stuff like I say, Stevie. Let's talk about Parliament and stuff like that. Like when you think about songs like Aqua Boogie, it ain't no bass guitar on there. That's all synthesizer. You know what I'm saying? The Flashlight, you know, all that's just synthesizer.
Wow.
Shout out
So
to
that was like the check out yourself of hip hop. Like, you know how you go to the grocery store. So that's eliminating jobs right there. Like yourself, no cashier. So yeah. Wow, that's a lot with that damn synthesizer.
And then you gotta think about it like this: you had people like Dre and, you know, Above the Law and stuff like that that was actually getting these type of equipment using where the G got a whole lot of stuff like the Moog and stuff like that in there, and a whole lot of the music. You know what I'm saying? So all that old stuff came back around from the 70s to the 90s, and even today they still use that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, those plugins. I mean, the bottom line is you got all those plugins that deal with that, sort of like to try to reinvent that vintage sound. Because, you know, in the beginning, when you had a lot of this equipment, you know, they just didn't have whatever it took, that just didn't have like necessarily real punchy beats or, you know, real whatever. It was the real expensive stuff in the beginning that had that stuff. But like, you know, when you start to get, you know, we'll talk about a little bit later, but when you get to like the basic stuff that people had, it really didn't have that stuff, and that's why people would go back to these vintage things, and then they ultimately just would sample those and, you know, provide all these sort of like, you know, plugins and stuff to give you that old sound. So, you know, that's what it is. So, yeah,
that's just like that James Brown. I don't know who was on the drums with James Brown, but it has yet to been duplicated. It's when you play it, there's like no one can do it with the drums. And how did this one man do it? It has not been duplicated yet in 2026 from then to the fucking early 60s. So yeah.
And a lot of it is not just about the playing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but none of it is just about the plan. But, you know, as we had a discussion before with Brickwalls on this very show, that, you know, they ran these things through all type of effects, and, you know what I'm saying? So there was a lot of stuff that thickened the instrument. So, you know, you know, you can't just plug something into the recorder and think that you're going to have something, as opposed to running at the amps and all these other things and stuff. So like, yeah, so they just the mics that they use, all the things that they use from vintage, you know what I'm saying? It's sort of like how they had all metal cars. They didn't have like, you know, those cheap fiberglass. Everything in the beginning was very expensive and big, and that contributed to, you know, the sounds and stuff like that. So, you know, that's why that vintage stuff was.
Well, probably the most important piece of equipment ever is the drums, basically. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you're right. Stubblefield and Jabbo Starks. That was two of James Brown's drummers. I can't tell you which one played on which songs and everything, but they both.
Stubblefield was on the Funky Drummer, that's for sure.
And Jabbo played on a whole lot of stuff too. So you know, it is what it is. So with that being said, now as far as hip hop, the most important thing I think that was ever invented was this right here. The turntable.
There you go.
Now, with the turntable, this is where, you know, hip hop started with the DJ, basically. You know what I'm saying? He had that turntables. You know what I'm saying? He was just taking records, and then they started taking breaks and just extending the breaks and everything. And the breaks was basically the drum, you know, the drum breakdown, right? And everybody got on the floor, and that's where you got the B-boys from, because when they heard the drum breakdown, they get on the floor and start doing anything to the breaks.
Yep, the B-boy, the break boys. Exactly. That's what it was.
Yes, sir. But what replaced the drummer is what? The drum machine. And let's talk about drum machines for a minute. One of the most important drum machines was like, let's go here. Let's see what this is here. That's the wrong thing there. Ah, there you go. The Lynn drum. Roger Lynn. Do anybody know who Roger Lynn is?
I know the name.
Dinosaur not included. God damn.
Roger Lynn.
No, I don't know who Roger Lynn is. Go ahead.
Roger Lynn is the inventor of the infamous MPCs.
Ooh, look, it's like, ooh.
Roger
Yeah.
Lynn, his first drum machine was the Lynn drum. I don't know if this is one or two, but he had a couple of Lynn drums out there, and a whole lot of people was using these drum machines. And when I say a whole lot of people, I'm talking about people like Prince. You know, everybody used these drum machines back in the day, in the 80s and everything. These were some infamous ass drum machines. All those
Sly and the Family Stone, you know, Sly, once he was first experimenting and stuff like that. I think Everyday People. I remember, you know, that's when because you know he had a whole band and stuff like that, but he started experimenting with, you know, the very thing that you're talking about. So, you know, I believe that was the first song.
Family Affair, actually.
Family Affair. That's right. My bad.
And that was on another drum machine. It was an earlier version of a drum machine, but one of the most useful drum machines was the Lynn drum machine, because you had all these sliders and everything, which comes, these sliders here is where you get the concept for the SP. Where's that SP? I know we got an SP on here somewhere, right?
Oh yeah. Let me grab it for you.
Yeah, if you can pull that one up.
Okay, so here we go. The SP.
There you go.
Now there was the SP12, and then there was the SP1200, which basically gave you some more. But I mean, I put up the SP1200 because that extra capability. That was there's a lot of hip hop classics that came out of this machine right here.
Indeed. And so, in fact, the guys that actually made that SP12, they actually made another piece of equipment. I think they was making synthesizers actually back in the day. And they was making synthesizers that was monophonic, which means you only play one note at a time. Then they started making polyphonic, what I'm trying to say, those goddamn synthesizers, so you can play more than one note at a time and everything. Because it was really difficult to actually kind of stack up all those stuff playing one note at a time and everything. Even Stevie had a problem with that, but they had found a way to make it polyphonic, as they went on, with recording everything. Hey, y'all, forgive me. I'm a little tired. I've been working all week and everything. I've been working these crazy hours, so I'm a little thrown off right here. So I need a little bit of help from y'all right now.
Well, hey, you talk about OG synthesizers and stuff like that. Remember the Fairlight? The Fairlight CMI. Yeah, this one again. This was introduced in 1979. I don't got the picture, but I mean the bottom line is you talk about old dinosaur, but this was used for a lot of our classic joints. But I really want to focus on the things that the first drum machine that I really got exposed to that really heard thickness. I remember when me and Brick Walls first started out, we had pretty crappy equipment. You know what I'm saying? We had just like a Casio keyboard, basic, whatever and stuff like that. But we responded to this recycle ad, looking for rappers and stuff like that. And they had like some equipment and stuff. They were really doing some things. And they had this thing right here. I think this is the picture that I want to look at. Okay, so this is okay, that's not I'm sorry. That's the, but I'm looking for the Oberheim. That's the one that you I'm sorry. See, that's the Lynn drum. There we go. Okay, so this thing right here.
Oh, the DMX.
I'm gonna tell you right now, man. These drum sounds blew our mind. I mean, this is like the first like drum machine that I really heard that just sounded real dope. Because this is like what Run DMC used, for it's like that, a lot sucker MCs and stuff like that. But I'm just telling you, these drums was so much thicker. I had like a Roland 707, and it was just, it was kind of like it was weak compared to this. But these drum sounds were real thick and powerful. So I mean, this is the drum machine that kind of blew my mind. So, but this thing cost like about $2,000. This wasn't just for like regular kids to just be having. You know what I'm saying? We was high school kids, trying to put stuff together. This equipment was extremely expensive back in the day. So but that was.
But what y'all know about the Boss DR550? Yeah, this was that one. I got a picture. Wait, let me put this on. Do y'all remember that thing right there?
Yes, the Dr. Rhythm. A lot of people. Yes.
Okay, nice guy. Wait, hold on. Let me give you some points back because I be fucking with you a lot. But yeah, you got some points back. You got some points straight up. That was that one. I remember Floyd X was in the army. We was in the Navy, and he sent that to me because he upgraded to some other shit. And he sent that to me, and he wrote the directions how to make beats. And I used to make beats off of that motherfucker right there. But before that, it was another one. I can't remember the name of it. But my brother Durock used to had it. He got it from the homie Style. Rest in peace. He was making beats and things like that. See, it's a lot. It's a little gap that we had right there with the Dr. Rhythm that y'all jumped straight to the 1200. Like that was the fucking mecca.
Well, the 1200 preceded that. The 1200, you're talking about the 1200. They were DJs were using that, like before really, that was just the creme de la creme. Because when I first started off, I was using like belt drive, like cheap turntables and stuff. But I had like maybe like I had a realistic we used to have Radio Shack. So all their items and stuff was like realistic. You have like a little realistic mixer. You have some like maybe a Sony belt drive, and there's a different technology where it's the belt drive. What's making it spin is just like this little belt, as opposed to the 1200.
But I think you
direct drive more as a plate.
It sounds like you talking about as more as like recording. That's not.
We're talking about it started out before regular people had these drum machines. They were doing music strictly on the turntables. Like for example, with Criminal Minded, if you go back and listen to poetry, you can literally hear the sample speeding up because DJ Skylar Rock, he's basically recording it. He's just playing the sample on one track, and then they go play it on another track. So he's basically recording every other track. Then he fills it in with this whatever stuff like that. So you before you even get into the drum machines, you were dealing with the turntables and the mixer. Run DMC, literally their whole show, they don't even use DATs and stuff. Everything is literally with the turntable and the mixer. You know what I'm saying? So that was that was the beginning of before you got to what we were doing with the drum machine. So
think about this. Gang Starr did their first album with just straight records. In a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, straight records.
Yeah. So and Marley Marl, I mean, he was doing stuff. I mean, he was, most people were like using like the 808. The 808 was very famous, very big, and we got that picture up here. This is the classic sort of like, beat drum machine, you know what I'm saying? Egyptian Lover. He's still rocking the 808s, you know what I'm saying? But the bottom line is Marley Marl was sampling stuff. He was like literally taking like, what was it for like the bridge and stuff like that. What was that? I'm about to say what was the sample that he used? Because ultimately we're gonna come back talking about
impeach the president.
Yeah, impeach the president, because we're gonna talk about top billing and
But yeah, Lonzo, I heard Lonzo, he's still using that same equipment, still talking shit like I started in NWA. No, I'm just saying. Salute to Lonzo, my bad.
Hey man, hey, I'm telling you right now, if I can get my starter disc, I will queue up my W30 in a second. You know what I'm saying? But we'll talk about more of this classic stuff first. But yes, what was the first drum machine you had, Infamous El Poo?
Honestly, the first drum machine I had was this right here, the MP2000.
Oh, so you was a sampler. That's legit.
I started off making music on the MP60. My boy Aaron Harris said, hook me up and show me how to use the MP60. 97, I had got a little bit of money. That's when the 2000 came out. I was one of the first people that got one from what's the name of that record store over there on Santa Monica and Vine? It's not there no more. Nadine's. Nadine's record store.
So, wait, hold on. So what was? I remember when we hooked up, we was recording music. What was that machinery you had? So that was like that was like a DAT.
That was the MP.
And what was the thing where you had to put the tape recorder in there or some shit?
Yeah, we got a picture of it.
Oh, he's talking about the 4-track. You're talking about the 4-track.
The 4-track.
There you go, right there.
Shit. Wow.
24 MK2.
Now just think about this. Think about this technology.
Hold on. My nigga Infamous, he had them two things right there. They're about the same size. But I was like, he the DJ, I'm the rapper. Like, I didn't get familiar with that stuff. I just was like, yo, I'm gonna spit some rhymes. But Infamous El Pooh, he used to be working them shit, making the beats. And dude was a bad MF, man. I gotta salute the Infamous El Pooh because I never seen it. That was like my first time being in the studio, rocking with the homie right there, and it was like, oh. And I used to really be pissing him off with my 1 million takes.
Hey, Cool G. I remember when G, he said that Craig G was talking about Cool G Rapper had to do a lot of takes. So
Okay.
you know, so you know
That makes sense though, because Cool G was real complex and he thought with a lift. That
So,
makes
you
sense,
know.
but El Pooh used to tell me, like, look, bro, you gotta memorize that shit. When you ready to record, spit that shit one take, come back. Yeah.
Hey, that's one thing that Pac was very notorious for. He was definitely a one-take master. You know what I'm saying? He'd get to a song,
LL as well.
write it, and just
LL
and
Cool J.
just lay it down. Now bring up that Tascam recorder since he brought that up. We talk about this. Now, you know, usually back in the days, you know, you had reels and stuff like that. But that's on the consumer level. This thing used actual regular audio tapes. And what it did is that it used sort of like an audio tape has two sides, A and B, and it has stereo. So it basically has like a left track, a right track on side A, and a left and a right track on side B. And what this 4-track recorder would basically run all four in one direction.
Yep.
So that's how you were able to get your 4 tracks. And if you pull it up, that's where you had all your little mixes, where where you can set your levels, where you had. I mean, this thing was like a game changer because we always used to do like pause mixing. You basically would just take one song and then you just like pause, record, whatever stuff like that, and do like this basic stuff. But this 4-track recorder, it took you to a whole nother level because not only do you do like you can do 4 tracks, but what you do is you do 3 tracks and then you bounce it over to the 4th. And then
Check this out.
Then you work on those other 3, you free up those 3 tracks and you keep adding on to it, stuff like that. So it was a big jump.
Check this.
We never did no bouncing like that though.
No,
Wait.
you didn't.
What we did was
Wait.
we would.
Go ahead.
Here's the technique. I will sequence everything on the MPC. Make sure that his rhymes and everything fit and everything. Got the whole song all together. Once we got it together and everything, we'll record it on one track. Then we'll start recording the vocals and everything. Main vocals on one track, maybe the ad-libs, and maybe some background on the other tracks. So we use all 4 tracks like that. You know what I'm saying? But we made sure to get everything sequenced up correctly on the MPC first before we recorded it out. Remember?
Well, wait,
Before-
let me mention this.
sequence.
Let me
Right.
mention this. Remember, that's when I made my first beat. You remember El Pooh? The Zagging Zone. The Zagging Zone. Because I heard that 4-track playing and it was playing backwards like zip, 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 zip. And I was like, yo, I got this song called ZZ. And he like, El Pooh explained the same thing you just said, Mr. Nice Guy. He was like, that's the 4-track. It's just playing. That's not a beat. I was like, we can make a beat off of that.
We did it too.
And we made a beat off of that. He said, okay, well, you do the drum. And he put my goofy ass up there. I did my best, and he kept it. Damn, boy, like, get the fuck out the way. And made that beat. But he did build off of that idea, and it was one of them ones. But yeah, that was that from that 4-track, having that tape that when you play it in regular shit, in the regular thing,
Yeah, the two would be
like
backwards.
Backwards.
Hey, and you know what? So he had you like Flavor Flav playing the drum on Rebel Without a Pause live. So Flav was basically doing that. That wasn't sequenced.
Yeah. Because El Pooh, he was like, because I used to get all these crazy ideas, and they be like, all right, well, okay, make a beat to that, because he played it like in a loop. Then I was like, and then he was like, get the fuck out the way. But he kept that bass drum, so I did get production on that first song. Like, yes.
You put the 2 sounds together like the kick and the snares. So that was
So you put
everything else in there.
Yeah, he did.
you put his little illustration on the refrigerator with a magnet.
Yeah. I'm like Puff Daddy. I added a
Exactly.
yeah. I produced it.
or DJ Khaled. Can I put my voice over that?
Yep. Yeah. Another one.
So yeah. So now, see, you're sophisticated. You already had like a sequencer and stuff like that. at the time that I was using the 4-track originally, I basically had a one-shot sampler. That means that you could get one thing in it, you know what I'm saying? And you know, only there wouldn't you get multiple, you get one shot at it, you can play that, so you might have to record that on the track, and then if you wanted to fill out a sample, you basically had to go, you know, this track with every other beat, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, when you got to the time, once I got to this thing right here, that was gonna be basically one take. But of course, you can still send out, you know, once we got to the digital, you can send out the stuff to your individual individual electronic tracks, and that way you can still sort of manipulate them as far as.
But watch this. Let me say this, guys. Let me say this. That rolling you just showed, like when you come from the mud using all of the other equipment, all that shit, making shit work, recording in a closet, recording in the fucking bathroom, whatever you got to do. When you got shit like this, you felt like, God damn, we moving the fuck up. Piano, all that shit, we on top. But then it's another level of more equipment to get. But you know how just coming through the ranks and the shit you got, you work with it so much. Because I remember fucking the double cassette, like, okay, record and rap in one take, for real. Like, this is a real one take shit with the instrumental playing and recording all at the same time. So that be the elevation. That's the beauty of technology. Because now these little niggas right here, everything's on the computer. It'd be a fucking nigga who just stepped to a computer like, yeah, I'm a beat maker. Get the fuck out of here.
Actually, you know something? Back in like 1990, 1991, I did have one of these, though, a one-shot sampler. It was called a Akai 612. It had like 3 seconds of sampling time, something like that.
Oh shit, yeah, that shit elevated so far from that. Yeah, that's great. It was like the bigger they are, the less they can fucking sample time they can sample.
Yeah, but you know, I don't. You know what I didn't do? I should have got a picture of that Rack Manimal Roland. You know, but the bottom line is it was because I remember seeing when you talk about this right here, this was 12-bit. And, you know, there's a difference between the 12-bit and the 16-bit. But it's 12 bits, you know, something about the bass and the drums on these things, they made them real funky. Because, you know, you only had so much sample time. So you had to, like, record it real fast, you know what I'm saying? And then you slow it down. That's how you preserve your sample time and get all this stuff. But it just added a funky element. Like, when you listen to a lot of that old school hip-hop, it's just, you know what I'm saying? Something about that process really, you know, drew out the sound and filled out the sound. It just made it real dope. So, you know,
I remember the infamous El Poo trying to explain bit to me. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you was talking about then, and I still don't fucking get it, and I don't give a fuck. With a microphone, I'm a rap nigga. Goddamn. He like, no, this is the bit, like the MIDI. I'm like, what? Yo, you do that shit. But yeah, he had a whole El Poo's being there with me, like, God damn. All right. I'll do it. Like,
the main thing is just that something had this many resources to recreate the sound.
You ain't gonna explain. You explain real.
I'm not explaining to you. We got a whole audience. I'm giving up on you, brother. I'm saying that there's this many resources to replicate the sound. So this thing right here, this was a 12-bit, but this right here, this is a 16-bit. So me and Brick Walls, we use both of these things. So you use this for the drums because this will give your drums the punchiness, the funkiness. But this is where you use for your synths and all that stuff, the bass lines and whatnot, whatever. You know, the instruments. You know what I'm saying? Not to mention it had more sample time. But you know, you basically sync all of these things, which, you know, was Simpty. You know,
I get it now.
Stuff like that. So yeah, so you know,
I get it.
And that's what people like. This was like a 12-bit machine. The SB 1200, the 12 and 1200, it was like 12-bit. They had that gritty sound that people like and everything.
So that's what I'm telling you. It was something about it that gave it that, you know.
Because stuff sounds clean nowadays, you know, especially on the computer and stuff like that, man. You got to dirty it up. You got to put saturation and all kinds of EQs and filters and stuff on just to get that gritty sound out of it.
Hey, so that drum machine you were talking about, Walk, I already spoken to Mr. Floyd X about it. We have not that one, the other one that he had. He had an Alesis HR16. And I remember because I had the Roland 707 or something like that. That was just like basic sounds, but the Elise 16, that was the 16-bit. So it was like real clear, real sound drummy. But like you said, it really didn't have the grit. It wasn't really till I got into like the beat breaks and the sampling and chopping up stuff. That's when you really get to that sort of like that, that sound. And not to mention that you're able to layer the drum. So by layering it, you're basically not just playing one drum sound, but multiple drum sounds simultaneously. And that's when you get those real thick. Tribe Called Quest, they have really thick drum sounds, and they were deep into the layering those drums.
Yeah. Well, you got to think about it like this. When they came out with things like the SB12 and stuff like that, these was basically used for just like drum sounds. But we as hip hop people, us, we go and innovate. We go and speed up a record. Because they only had like 3 or 4 seconds of sampling time, whatever it was limited. So we'll speed up a record, slow it down and everything, so we get some more time out of it. But instead of just using drums, we'll use actual like recordings of like instruments and samples and really sampling basically. Whatever you
chop
want.
It up.
You chop it up either way you wanted to. But that's not what they were intended for. The hip hop community brought that to the table. But one thing about that Fairlight too, you know how you got that infamous orchestra sound, that orchestra hit,
the stab, yeah,
orchestra stab that came from the Fairlight.
Exactly. You talking about just think about that. That's those stabs, especially back in the day when Profile was first starting, Def Jam was first starting. They didn't pay for all of this instruments and sampling and stuff like that. So they basically just had a drum going and the DJ cutting the stab and stuff like that. And a lot of these stabs are basically from these machines. So you're absolutely right about that.
Sure. So
LL Cool J, man, I'm telling you, man, them first LL Cool J's joints, I Need a Beat and Radio and Dangerous, really Dangerous. I was like one of those dudes that was like a breakdancer, rapping about my breakdance crew and stuff like that, fun stuff, party stuff, whatever. I heard Dangerous and I was like, I'm taking everybody's head off. You know what I'm saying? That just changed everything. It literally changed my religion. So Dangerous, that was the days
when niggas would walk around with cardboard boxes, like in case cats want to battle on the street. Like I got a cardboard box to spin on my back in the middle of the street.
And if you got a good one, this person had a big TV. This is a nice piece of cardboard right here. So, that was special, man. You got, because all cardboard ain't created equal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's gonna be flagged like. That's
so yes.
Dang.
Since y'all mentioned, let's give a shout out to one of the greatest hip hop producers of all time, Mr. Rick Rubin. Spin that.
Sure. Oh my goodness, Rick Rubin, master. So you put some respect on that white dude. You know what I'm saying? He did some great things with Run DMC and the Beastie Boys. He's an absolute legend in the game.
Hey, Walk.
Jay-Z. Yeah. Come on. Yeah.
Piece right here. Let me see if I can find it. Remember that?
Yeah, that looks familiar as hell, boy. It look old as shit. That machine.
The ADAT. That's what we had. That's when we had the Third House. That's the man that drove all the way out to Vegas to get a DPS, a Tascam DP12 or something like that. I talked him into getting that ADAT. We brought that ADAT back home. We heard the sound coming out of that. We was like, whoa.
Wow. Dinosaur included with that one right there. Straight up.
Hey, man.
Raptosaurus Rex.
Just think about it. The digital recording, because we recorded in a time where first of all, we were there before CDs came about. So we were always dealing with vinyl, you're dealing with a tape. And whenever you're dealing with a tape, you're dealing with hits. When you're dealing with a vinyl, you're dealing with snaps and crackles and pops, especially how old it is. But the CD was like really, really clean. You know what I'm saying? So when you're recording, especially if you're recording off that Tascam, you're getting some fuzz. You're getting some ambient background noise. But when you start dealing with the ADAT, that's when you taking it to a whole nother level of just clarity, just being able. Hey, them dudes would get them ADAT straight, and they go to the club and perform. That's what they doing. You know what I'm saying? They going with those ADATs and stuff like that. So that you literally performing your whole routine, off of that type of stuff. So that was a big step in the game.
Yeah, but I think ADAT is they came with like they didn't come with them, but you had to buy like big old like VCR tapes.
Mm-hmm.
everything. So it gave you like that analog sound from the like a cassette tape in a sense, but it was just a whole lot fatter and everything. And then when we talk about bits and everything, the ADAT was like 20-bit too. Just just to throw that out there.
That was impressive to go all the way up to 20. You know,
but that shows too how things come full circle because like a group like the Wu-Tang Clan, they was looking more for that gritty sound of like this ain't too clean with the CD and like it's so clear. They wanted that gritty sound, like they had that sound like Wu-Tang. It's like some niggas in the fucking parking lot and you in here rapping, and it's niggas outside like Wu-Tang. Like they wanted that sound. So a lot of times, even RZA, he was schooled on the art of how to make shit clear. He kind of purposely made shit a little gritty, a little grimy, and not too refined, because that became like part of his signature when it came to his production.
And RZA started off with that SP12 or 1200, one of those two, but he started off using that first. And a lot of people that started off using that SP12, SP1200, whatever the case is, they moved over to the MPC.
Oh.
From 60 to the 2000 to the 3000, 2000, and on. I think Drake still uses the MP like 2000, something like that. He got like 5 or 6 of them hooked up in the studio all together, synced up and everything.
Yeah.
So let me tell you guys a little something about this technology that he's talking about. So he's talking about these MPCs and his SP12s. This is called, they use basically pattern, programming. Because basically what you do is you just sort of like create like a 4-bar stretch, you do whatever, and then this is pattern A. You do another one, whatever stretch, this is pattern B. So the bottom line is through the course of a song, you're just flipping between these patterns and stuff like that. Whereas where we grew up on, this is step editing. You're literally creating everything from this bar to that bar to that bar to that bar. This thing forced you to maybe, be a little bit more creative, at least as far as changing up everything. Because I mean, obviously you could do stuff live and do things with the pattern stuff. But really, as far as, if you wanted to start off with just the last 2 of a beat or whatever, you could literally do that in the program as opposed to something you might have to do in a mix. So, I mean, those were the big difference. So we come from the step editing, and that's really kind of the mindset that I think, but, pattern editing, it's very simple and it works, but you better make sure that these patterns line up. I always think about how like on Cypress Hill, How I Could Kill a Man. When you hear the thing by itself, it was great. But when he transitioned from the 1 to the 1, it wasn't very smooth. That'll never happen with step editing. So the bottom line is, you just got to make sure that when it goes from this to that, it's a smooth transition.
Hey, Infamous El Pooh, what was them shits y'all was using where y'all had the little the zip drives and stuff like that? What was that?
We never used a zip drive, bro.
Whatever
I used the zip. That
record a song and it'll be. Remember how John Boy, he thought he made that beat because that's what I'm alluding to, when he thought he made not Mind Games, but it was Mind Games, but I Need Your Love.
Okay, yeah. It was a disc. It was actually a floppy disk. That's
floppy.
Floppy disk for the MPC.
But he talks about those zip drives. Go ahead. I'll come back to it.
Watch this. Okay, so me and El Pooh used to do all kind of beats and shit. And then I think he would put them on a floppy disk. Because it was like a shitload of floppy disk in there.
Yeah.
My cousin, he put that shit in and he started fucking with it. He thought he made that beat, though. He really thought he made it. We come to the studio.
What he did was he has used my sounds and made a whole new sequence and everything, in a sense. But then I came along and I heard it. I'm like, man, this is my beat right here. These are my
I was
sounds.
like, nigga, that's Mind Games, nigga. Like, me too, because he gave El Pooh, we did a song, Mind Games, with that beat. But because I was like, he was in there like, and we like, nigga, this is something else. That shit was hilarious. But then El Pooh, being the humble, bad motherfucker he is, he went in there too, cleaned that shit up a little bit, and made that shit was funky as fuck too. That's when it became a whole different beat, though, man.
But Girl, I Need Your Love, right?
Girl, I need you. Yeah.
I did that one little breakdown. Do. Remember that?
Yeah. El Pooh was a bad motherfucker, bro. El Pooh, like, but we was in there looking at each other like it was like a practical joke, like a nigga saying, like, yeah, this is my song I made. Niggas like, no, it ain't. Yeah. But yeah, that was some crazy shit, though.
Hey, that's not gunshots this time. This is 4th of July, y'all.
I didn't even hear it. But in the daytime.
Oh, he in
Yeah.
LA.
Hey, it used to sound like Beirut out here, but they just this year outlawed all fireworks. I mean, it's
Nigga,
great.
y'all know it's about y'all in this. I like to say this. Y'all in the bitty blood, y'all know it's about to go down. Yeah.
Hey,
Y'all
I'm telling
know
you,
it's
it would
about to go down.
it was already, but I'm telling you, before it would get cracking like days before. I'm just saying it's a big difference now with the whatever. I'm just telling you, it would be crazy right now. Like you said, they'd be, they still be doing stuff during the daytime. I'm just saying that I'm not saying they're not gonna do nothing, but it's way different. It was Beirut before,
Yeah.
and it's nothing now, compared. We'll see.
I don't know.
We'll see when the sun goes down. Yeah.
I don't know what happened at 12 o'clock last night, but it sounded like somebody had a whole lot of fireworks and somebody just dropped like a match up in there because we just heard a whole lot of stuff just going off for like 5 minutes. Just
see, that's the thing about it. Where you at, the fireworks have always been illegal, so they just do it. It don't matter. No rule change is going to change nothing about that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They sold the fireworks out here. It's like when I was young, like in Los Angeles, it was illegal to have the fireworks, but Culver City, it was legal. So you can literally just go to Adams and Fairfax and buy your fireworks. You just do it in your backyard. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. But once Culver City got rid of them, that pretty much killed it. But you go over there. I remember going over to my aunt's, my wife's grandmother on like Vernon and Normandy. You know what I'm saying? It's like Beirut. I was like, what the hell's going on over here? You know what I'm saying? I was like amazed that people were still doing this stuff. I thought you had to be out like in Cucamonga to see this type of stuff going on. So that's how it was when we originally got here. But it ain't like that now. So hopefully it stays that way, man. The pets go crazy.
Okay, I got a question for y'all right now. Do y'all think since the computer age, everybody's using a computer right now, do y'all think that's having an effect on hip-hop music? Is it getting better or is it getting worse? And another thing, too, to add to that is, do you miss DJs scratching on music?
First of all, as a DJ, you know what I'm saying? I always love DJ scratching. I always said that, look, the mainstream is the mainstream. The underground is the underground. It's still going on. There's still people that are turntablists doing incredible things. Technology is not a problem for the people that are gifted and whatever. It literally allows them to even take it to the next level. What may be bad about technology is like Walk said, you got some clowns that just show up and do like blah, blah, blah. Now they think that they Dr. Dre. That's where it gets bad. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, if you're an artist, if you're at least some level of skill, technology is just clean it up. I appreciate what having little sample time helped us do. It probably, helped us legally avoid a lot of losses as well. But, I'm just saying there's something to be said about the technology that you have now that you can just really get it on and crack. And so I appreciate and respect it. The Baby King thing that I heard from the BET Awards, I was totally impressed with that. To me, it sounded almost like Bohemian Rhapsody, where they just completely went out of the back. We're going to do this. We're going to do that all in one course of whatever. And I just felt like, salute to that. That's greatness. So,
What you think, Walt?
You're muted, brother.
I totally disagree with what you said, Mr. Nice Guy. I feel like the technology has totally watered down the whole craft of everything. Come on, look how far we have come. You could just say some shit into a computer and then AI will spit out a whole rap verse for your ass. You know what I'm saying? That's how it's easy to do. They have Instagram models who are DJs. Bitch, you ain't no fucking DJ.
Paris.
DJ what? You feel what I'm saying? So that's where the technology came in and just watered down to make it easy. I'm telling you, one time I came in the house, not even my son who's a rapper. My son, second born, he was like, yeah, him and his friend was laying down some tracks. Of what?
Mm-hmm.
This is what technology has done. Anybody can rap. Anybody can make a beat, like boo, 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 and then you feeling like you certified to go up there, have the nerve to go up on the stage and act like you're a rapper or a DJ. Yes, technology has watered down the craft. See, but some people with the creativity that they have with the old school vibe in them, they are changing it and use that as a little slight elevation to what they're doing.
That's literally what I said.
No, it's not, nigga. Just because you said that don't mean.
I said the people that are skilled with it, the technology, they can take it to the next level. I said, of course, you got those bums.
All right, let me say my part. It's too readily available for everybody
I
nowadays.
said that. Go ahead.
It's too readily available. Anybody can rap now and make beats and all that old stuff. In fact, let me give you a good example. That new song, Spin That, the beat is nice, but I don't think the production is really too good with the vocals. I don't think, first of all, I don't think she has no talent, number one. I don't think she got no lyrics.
Zero talent.
And I don't think it's recorded well. I don't think it's mixed well. Basically, that's just my opinion.
I think that's on purpose, El Poo.
You think so?
I think that's on purpose because the dude got that old school feel of just some simple shit like the mid 90s type, like domino type. That's like a like that. In my opinion.
Yeah, the beat is cool. The beat is cool. It's just not mixed well to me, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. There's a whole lot of stuff that's out there that's mixed very well, like a whole lot like Nas and all that old stuff, the J. Cole's and all the mainstream stuff.
Yeah, the problem with Nas is not the mix. You can have great engineering, but if the beat that you chose is whack, you can put lipstick on a pig. But
That's true. But at least it's still good though. That's all I'm saying. Her stuff is like, yeah, I listened to it one time. I'm like, I'm cool. I'm super cool.
As a DJ, when you're scratching, I'm saying that you used to want to just cut loose and do all these tricks, but you're sitting there with nickels and dimes and race car part tracks on your needle to try to keep it together. You're sitting there doing all these tricks just so the needle don't skip. And now you get these basically, CD turntables that allow you to scratch uninhibited. To me, you can say that, well, maybe that was part of the skill to not fuck that. The skill was the actual scratching that you cut loose. So that's what I'm saying. That allows you to take it to the next level. The people that have the talent, whatever they, put it this way, the people that are making music now, they're not using their old equipment. They're using the new shit. Because the new shit, it allows them to do what they want to do better. But you're right, the bums use it to just sort of like skip to the front of the line. But their product is it demonstrates that that's all they did. You know what I'm saying?
And that, hey, watch this. And that's why Eric Sherman, he said that. He said, I feel bad for these artists for the last 20 years. How y'all gonna eat? Because we're not going to no damn concerts to see fucking Young Thug and a lot of this bullshit music, Spin That shit. We're not going to go see that. That's how a lot of these artists like Big Daddy Kane, Rakim, Tone Loc, Young MC, they still touring the whole goddamn planet right now. So that's what Eric Sherman was saying. Like, how are y'all going to eat by making this trash fucking music? So, like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, they sell a lot. There's more people.
I was going to say about the last song that gave props to a DJ was Lil Wayne. Go DJ. That's my DJ. And his DJ didn't even do anything. So,
but I repeat, that's the mainstream stuff. If you go to the underground has always got like all that stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? Born Alive, you know what I'm saying? He's going to a real DJ, a West Coast DJ that's doing like, the crab scratching and all that other stuff. So it's there. I mean, when Walk talks about these
M1,
when Walk talks about these Instagram DJs, they call themselves the DJ, whatever, but you'll still see those DJs that, I don't know, you've seen those two Asian twins. They are DJing. They are cutting and scratching and mixing and stuff like that. So the bottom line is the culture's still going on. It's just the mainstream ain't flashing the light on. Okay, so
But let's go into the 5 minutes of funk. Go ahead and set that up for us, Mr. Walt.
Oh man, this is crazy. We just had this conversation a little earlier, and it became that beat. Okay, the Mantronics. Quit playing. Super dope producer. super dope hip hop classics album. Paved the way for a lot of rappers. A lot of rappers sampled and took stuff from them without even taking it. You know, they took it, but they didn't take it. You feel me? So, but then compare that to that other historical beat, in my opinion, which is the Audio 2 Top Billin'.
Ooh.
Produced by Daddy O, Stetsasonic.
No, not all the way. Not all the way. Audio
He's the one
2.
that sampled that. He's the one that sing. He's singing that. That's you know. That's what he
Sample
said.
what?
It's impeach the president. They just literally just boom, 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 boom. It's literally just the sample that he's just sort of like doubling, tripling, whatever stuff like that. So you know,
Okay.
but it's impeach the president. It's the exact same thing that Marley Marl used for The Bridge and you know countless other songs. You know what I'm saying? But he flipped it a special way.
I mean, it's
Okay.
really simple. You know, you just keep on just hitting the, you know,
Yeah, you just
button.
keep on hitting it. It's literally boom, and he just boom, 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 boom. That's literally what he's doing, you know. But it was dope. It's you know, it was very unique, and and the reason why we're talking about it is that we were talking about like me and Brick Walls in high school. We had this friend. I apologize, I forgot your name, brother, but he was the first dude that used to talk about Too Short. You know, he was the first dude that brought this MC, you know, this MC Milk Top Billin' song. And he was like, you know, he goes, I honestly think this beat is better than any of the beats from Mantronix. And we was like, are you crazy, Mantronix? They're the best producers in hip hop. They got like all these like computer effects and sounds, and you know, they were like super sophisticated. You know what I'm saying? They were like it at the time. So when he said that, I thought that was ridiculous. And I remember many years later, Brick Wall goes, you know, it's funny when I revisit that discussion. He says I get more emotionally worked up by listening to this Top Billin' beat than those Mantronix beats. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, damn, you know what I'm saying? That dude was right. You know what I'm saying? We just kind of brushed them off, but you know there was something about that sample and that.
But wait, here's the thing about a sample: when you flip it so tough, because okay, I'm listening to this. Okay, I see the similarity, but it ain't that similar with the Audio 2. And I compare that to what damn, what's old boy did with I'm sorry, but it was a song that was done with that Kanye West did that he flipped it so tough to where you're like, it's a sample, but it's not really a sample. This is his own creation right here. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I feel about that Audio 2 beat. That's why I feel that's his own creation. That boom, cha, boom, cha, boom, cha, ka, boom, 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 boom. God, MC,
but just totally, like you're doing it. But look, as you're doing it, that's literally what he's doing. It's because he's literally sampling boom to his clap, and he just goes boom to boom to boom. You know what I'm saying? So he's doing something. Yeah.
But it became his own creation. It's just
it is because he did it. He flipped it in a way no one was doing it like that. You know what I'm saying? Because like even with Marley Marl with the bridge, he's playing it all over. He's replicating how it naturally happens in whatchamacallit, but he doesn't have the sample time to just play it out. So he's literally he's just got the kick, he's got the snare, he's got the hi-hat, whatever, and he's playing.
Well, I want to say this. I feel like that beat by the Audio 2, that is probably. I don't give a damn about the impeach the president. Fuck impeach. I just heard it because I've been hearing that impeach the president my whole life. Wait, hold on. I've been hearing that impeach the president my whole life. And you said it, and then you like, oh, that is a flip in the sample. Okay. But that Audio 2, that's one, in my opinion, one of the greatest hip-hop beats ever. So, and to compare to the Mantronix, I got to give it to the Audio 2. 2's Audio. I got a brother in his name, Gizmo. Gizmo chilling. Walk is chilling. Script playing, nigga. We Top Billin'.
But Mantronix discography crushes whatever the Audio 2's discography.
salute to Mantronix. Especially the shit they did with Just Ice. Oh my God. That brought Just Ice back. The hardcore shit.
Hey, not only that, you're talking about Just Ice, you're talking about Tila Rock, It's Yours, that famous song, It's Yours, that Nas is scratching in that song, you know, It's Yours, or whatever the world is yours, yeah. So that Mantronix song, not only that, that's the beginning of Greg Nice from Nice and Smooth. You know, Greg Nice was like the beatboxer, you know what I'm saying, for them. He's got a song, Greg Nice and I'm a Country Boy, you know what I'm saying? So he's like just beatboxing all that stuff. So it's like, yeah, that all that stuff that came out of that sort of like Mantronic circle. Them Cole Getting Dumb. I mean,
Oh yeah, that's the one.
Just
That's
like,
right.
you know, it's just like, you know, and the remix, I mean, particularly, but yeah, and that was the song that you didn't know that he was dissing Curtis Blow, but yeah, you know, he went after him, you know what I'm saying? But you know, yeah, it was dope.
That be that shit. They see each other in the Bronx, be like, "Yo, sucker, I felt like you was dissing me, yo."
Yeah, you better not do that with Just Dice.
Right.
You better just be pretty. Just be pretty. Yeah, it's a little too gangster. For
Just
that.
like some of his songs was trash. They like let him rap. Let the nigga rap. Goddamn it, let him rap and get his ass out of here. For he fucked everybody up. Straight street nigga. That's it. Yeah. Salute
All
to
right.
Just Dice.
So any last words before we get up out of here, y'all?
Let me see. Did we cover all equipment? Sitting there going over all this. Yeah, see, we touched everything. And you know, and another thing is you got to think about like, you know, them plugins. Because it was like that was a big thing. Like, for example, just compressors. At least it had like a whole bunch of sort of like racks and stuff like that did all these effects. So you talk about not only just like reverb and all this other stuff, but once you get with the compressor, you know what I'm saying? That's where you really sort of like make your music loud. Because it's like we would do stuff recorded, and then it's like you play it compared to other pieces, and it's like your stuff sounds kind of low. But the compression basically sort of like equalized everything and basically brought out all the, you know, the loudness and the whatever. So it's just like that's all that stuff. So that's where that technology really helped you evolve. It didn't hold you back. It elevated whatever you was trying to do. So, you know, again, I respect technology.
And give big shouts out and props to rest in peace Paul C for using that compressor on a whole lot of his stuff and everything and showing hip hop how it was
Another
done.
great white producer, just legendary dude.
Well, and what white folks gonna do with hip hop? What white folks gonna do in the NBA? My name's Stephen A. Fuck out, nigga.
With all that being said, man, we like to thank y'all for tuning in for another Spin That Back show, man. I know we coming in between. Starting to get hot. The sun is coming on. How many times we are doing this summer, working so hard. Anyway, thank you for checking us out. We'll be back sometime in the future. Maybe when 6 o'clock with Walker, we'll probably have the show. Thank y'all for tuning in and good luck. Check out the Spin That Back show.